This is an acrylic floral painting that I actually had started as a demonstration for a class in acrylic painting techniques. And in this particular piece, what we did was we painted a value scale painting first. So that's what you're seeing, all the black and gray and white. And what I'm doing now is I'm putting a glaze of a purplish blue, almost periwinkle color over the top of that in various degrees. So depending upon how much glaze I add to this mixture will depend on how much actual color is going to show. And so I'm painting over the top of the background first, but then later I'll paint a little bit more on the inside. But we're just going around the outside edges right now, putting that nice loose glaze in there, hoping that the strokes are very similar to the strokes that I used in the underpainting. And it helps define some of the shapes when you put a little added extra paint in there. But if you want it to be a thinner glaze, and you can always do multiple glazes. So for instance, once I got this color in there, if I wanted to make it variegated, say, from left to right, and do a slightly warmer color on one side and a cooler color on the other side, it's just a matter of putting a sufficient amount of the glazing medium in the color that you're using to just subtly shift the one color basically that I've got in at this layer. All you're going to see here really is just this stage of the painting, but this is an important stage because here you're discovering if your values that you placed in the underpainting are going to work for you. And it can be challenging. You have to make sure that you have a nice range of values, and that you have some defined darks and some defined lights or highlights. Because if you paint an opaque color over these glazing layers, it will show. And if you get good at it, it's not a problem. But it's you've got this technique that you're working on, and it's a completely different technique than working opaquely. So just make sure you got some skill on both if you're going to put any opaque color over the top of your glazing, because it will kind of stand out as being different. And if you do enough of it, enough different looks right, but a little bit of different kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, like you've made a mistake. So be sure that if you go back later with some opaque color, that you spread it around the entire painting, in other words, so that it looks more intentional rather than I'm trying to fix a mistake in one area. So right there, I just overlapped some of those lighter values, and I didn't want that in there, so I just used my finger to wipe it out. That's probably not the safest way to go about that. Maybe using gloves while you're painting, or using a paper towel or a rag to wipe away rather than your finger might be a safer bet, because if you are unaware, acrylic paints, some of them are made with heavy metals, and you need to keep yourself safe.